check, baby, 1, 2. Check, baby, 1. Heyo, it's RJ. It's Got Instincts podcast time. You know that. You click that. Well, maybe it's your first time. If it is, welcome. Hey, thanks for clicking. Thanks for joining. So, it's a little unorthodox today. We are actually outside. So, I'm gonna keep it relatively chill. It's a beautiful fall morning, afternoonish, in the northeastern states, and you know, I got the pup that's running around. I had a blue jay come by, and it's sort of unplanned. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah. Thanks for joining the unplanned. Hey, out of the garden, pal. Yeah, you talking? Yep. Yeah. Good dogs don't go in there, right? Because I don't need him to pee on one of the tomatoes, right? Or my zucchinis that are babies right now, right? Mason. I didn't really dig his name. He already had the name Mason, and that name isn't really that name isn't the greatest name to be using. Yes, I'm talking about the Masons, Freemasonry. I know we haven't totally dove deep within the rabbit hole yet, but to be honest, I got a really great guest coming up that we'll be planning for probably by November, and it's gonna be great. We're gonna dive deep into the rabbit hole. If you don't already know how deep it can go, then just, I guess, I don't know, roll a couple for that one, maybe. You know, or just have the time, or just break it within a week or so. Who knows at this point? What we're gonna talk about is gonna be interesting, and it ties into everything. It ties into the global conglomerates, or the sort of power structure that's crumbling before us as we sit here and listen to Gut Instincts podcast. You know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get into it because I'm just going to leave it for the show. I'm going to let it birth itself, and only if you're relatively close, and you probably would have heard me talk about this, but I mean, I'm always still learning about it, and we're all still information is still being divulged and understood and digested and shared about the global, for example, human sex trade, the pedophilia ring within the whole entire planet, right? You go in an airplane. You know what a plane is, right? Like a flat plane. A plane is just a flat surface. So if we take a second to think about words that we use, especially in English, airplane, right? It's in the air over a plane. Sea level, right? It's not sea curve. We don't call it a sea curve. We call it a sea level because it's level. What I'm getting at is there's no detectable curvature, and we actually don't even perceive it, and we haven't. And I know I got a little off topic. We're talking about the planet Earth. That's really what got me down that that little left-hand turn. But we'll go back. We'll get back to the subject at hand, which in reality, to be honest, I really didn't pick one. Usually in the show, I'll roll it up prior, and then we'll sort of go together on the journey of questioning reality and, spirit without the aspects of the life that we are fed, right? I mean, we live it to a certain extent, but we are also fed it in the sense that we get a lot of exterior stimulation when it comes from, or when it comes to like cell phones, articles online, television, streaming, all that. You know what I mean? All that good stuff. That's all fed to us, so it had to be filtered. Somebody had to put it out, right? And then, of course, there's levels of filtration. That's what we're getting. That's what the internet age is all about. That's what internet censorship is all about. It's filtering the funnel of information, because knowledge is truly it. It's truly power, if you want to call it, but together, while we expose and share the situations that we're going through, we can find better routes to all of this, right? So what I'm getting at is, it's going to be a pretty cool show, and I hope you stick around to listen. Well, you probably will, right? Oh man, this chair just decided to decided to sort of give out one of those sort of lounge fabric chairs, camp chairs. Got my feet up on the wood, the wall of the garden, of the wood garden wall, right? They're all oak, so we're gonna put some oysters in them and all that stuff. If you're into that, you should follow me on the interwebs. It's CBD Healer on Instagram. Everything else would be like RJ Martin's, I guess. But yeah, CBD Healer. Do that. Hopefully this is okay for you. This is a chill pace. I'm already halfway through the joint. I guess that's why I said that earlier. Halfway through the joint. Looking for the lighter. It went out. Don't know if I have it. Oh, if I don't have it, that's a big problem. Because we're going to have to cut. And we're going to have to come back. I'm not going to sit here and bring you with me. That's probably torture for you. Alright. We're coming back. Grab your lighter. Light it up. Do what you gotta do. Oh, look at that. Guess what? I had it. I was sort of sitting on it. But anyways, you'll never know. It's going to be a time bleep in the internet webs, right? That's what's wonderful about this. It's like I'm making this, capturing it, and it's just forever manifested into the reality, right? Yeah, definitely. The bird agrees. You do, don't you? Yeah. So, it's a beautiful thing, life, the simplicity, the complexity, when the dog eats grass like a cow, shit like that. So, I guess as we light this, we can just think to ourselves how the simple act of sort of choosing what you eat or what you think or how you project yourself in the form of, answers or facial expressions, that sort of thing. When you take into account these as a input-output type situation, then we can sort of start to see the effect of, or the effect it has, the acts, right, or the acknowledgement of this, the level of effect it has on the human consciousness and the human psyche. Because if we are all linked to one another, which that is the case, as we sort of flow through life, we have this constant and infinite pulse of energy that gets projected out and internal through our intentions in our mind, and then of course our words, external output, internal internal. What I mean is, when you take into the account that sort of as a, hey, where you going? Hey. Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Right? You don't need to be in the garden. No. All the space. So, when you do that, you could see the sort of infinite projection of positivity that can happen. It's sort of like a tenfold type of thing. Like you fold a paper in half, and then that's two halves, and you fold that in half, and it's four. You know how you do that, and it doubles. I think it doubles, right? Regardless, I think you get what I'm talking about. The ripple effect. Think of it as a wave. Every thought, every intention, everything you say. Ooh, I don't mean to yawn, but it's so nice out here. Chill. Every single one, every single ripple, every single wave, just soon starts to tune this human frequency that we're on, and then we start to see things like we're seeing, things that are going to crumble, change for the better, change for the worse. And all of this is what I'm talking about, is because more people are buying healthier foods or more vegetables, things like that, organic, all that stuff, no pesticides, no chemicals. As more and more people purchase that, there's more of an overstock or an overflow of that, so it gets shuffled into bargain outlets and that sort of thing, which in turn lets everyone begin to eat healthier and just look for healthier options. And regardless of your beliefs, there is a healthier food and there's a not healthier food. I mean, there's obviously the idea that it's all mind, but on the third, fourth dimension, you are confined by the physical aspects of reality. And and so you just have to figure out how to sort of manipulate the two to create the most abundant type of life or situation that you can be in. Whether that's growing your own food, whether that's buying, organically, whether that's like shopping with somebody else and splitting it, whether it's like little by little too. I mean, I know they have processed organic foods and such. I mean, it's not a one size fits all when it comes to diet, when it comes to food, when it comes to gut healing, when it comes to growing your own food. It's all on a person to person basis, and that's what we have to make sure we strive to to get closer to is that idea that, together we can make great things, but we also have to know we have individual aspects as well, because we all live in our individual realities. We can actually never be in one another's reality other than experiencing the reality together. So if you think about that, hey, yeah, good boy. He seems really excited to try to go in there. I didn't even light this up. Can you believe that? So I'm so stoked that y'all are listed. For real. Next month is gonna be huge. I'm sorry. Not next month. This month. This month is. I should get a water. I need to get a water. I can't do it, guys and gals. Everyone on the interwebs can't do it. I gotta get a water. And then we'll come back. We'll talk about. What are we going to talk about? I don't want to say that again. Oh, we'll talk about, I guess, the individual aspects of reality. That's what we'll get into, because regardless of what we believe, what we can see and experience is really all there is. And as I've said before, when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, it's really all the now. It's a now moment. Now moments are all stitched together, which is why it connects to that idea that if we just make sure we're sort of emphasizing the positivity within each moment within our reality, we'll be on the right path, projecting love, good vibes, positive thoughts, right? So, it comes down to being able to be aware that all the interactions that you have, whether really short or really long, are connected inside, within, at some way, shape, or form. Like, it doesn't mean that it's everything technically is divine, right? But some are more profound than others. Like, for example, you go out and you do errands or whatever, right? You go to like 3 stores or something, and you bump into 2 people, not very. You didn't really get much out of it. Maybe you noticed something about them. Maybe you had a thought that came up, right? Maybe they reminded you of something, and you just blow it off. You don't think about it. But that, in actuality, is its purpose. You just, it's whether or not you sort of catch it. And then you have another reaction that's a little bit longer, or you get to know the person's name, or you get to whatever it is, right? It just seems more profound. You remember it more. Maybe you remember it later on. That, that right there is the defining sort of moments that you have to receive what the universe has to give, and give what you can project, in the sense of, you can be ignorant about it, or you can be accepting about it. I mean, I don't have to explain it to all of you, right? Like, you understand the idea of somebody can tell you something or ask you something, and you can react to it. We can react to it in multiple ways, actually. That's what's actually kind of quite amazing about it, is we can do it in a sense of not giving much back, very closed down, maybe. We can give it in the sense of, very out there. We can give it in the sense of just giving options. we can not care. There's all sorts of reactions, and interestingly enough, they all sort of coincide and correlate with the astrological or the astronomy signs, right? When it comes down to it, the energy that's projected, or I should say maybe received, when spirit comes down into the earth realm for the first time, is its underlining sort of projection of the universe in itself as a human. So I don't know if that made any sense, but it's all correlated to the chakras, the planets. They're all as within, so without, right? As above, so below. That's what it is. The planets, the chakras, the all of that, the constellations, energy, frequency, resonance. And you know what's amazing? I say that while a fly just decided to land itself. Right around my knee. That's pretty cool, huh? So, that's what I mean. For example, I didn't really sort of choose consciously to do an episode at this moment in time. If we schedule it, obviously that's a different breed, but ones like these that I do plan to kind of do here and there, and I'll make them shorter. They'll be a little shorter because the ones with guests will be a little longer, because in reality it seems more constructive when I have a guest, and I have so many great people that I have planned to go on. So it's just the development. It's been a year of just me jibber jabbering with you, lighting the joints, going through life. I had an appendicitis, out for a while. Couldn't do the podcast for a while, but back in it. We've been golden now. We've been rocking slowly but surely. Been focusing on, getting the website up to T for all of you to experience, and getting that book out for you. I haven't, that's what I've been really putting a lot of time, my effort into as well. And then, of course, the garden, like I'm sitting out here with you right now, and just sort of checking out the fruits of the labor. We're going to do a really nice, I'm going to do a nice waterfall, pond type situation. Not very big, really mini type, it should be cool. So if you're into that type of stuff and you want to see it work out, I'm going to do, make a pond, make a mini waterfall with the plants that will grow over it, and it'll be pretty rad. And if you dig that type of stuff, shameless plug again, CBD Healer on Instagram. And I do some Snapchat too. But you can check that out, and you can email me, and you can find all my info on the website, gutinstinctspodcast.com. Check the time I have. 24:24. See that? I went slow so I could hit that. We will go until my time 10:01. Yeah, we'll keep it about it was a 30-minute show. Set 8, 9, 8. Yeah, it'll be like 32 minutes. 1101. That's what we'll do. How's that sound? You know, you got to play with spirit. Oh no, it's gonna be 1202. That's what it'll be, because it's a 1152 now. If you guys don't know, I'm talking about the time. 11:53. If you're sitting there going, "What the fuck is going on?" That's probably what you're doing. But I was just talking about time. I'm going to end it on divine sort of numbers. So 1 2 1 2. Oh, I could do 1 2 1 2, and that's another 12. That's a pretty long podcast, though. We'll wing it. We'll wing it. We'll talk for another, till the end of the hour, and we might have to end it. Because honestly, it's like when we talk about this stuff, I know I've rambled, and then I feel like I've left you hanging in a few areas or aspects. So on that note, I'll just light this up, and here's a little word from our sponsors. I'm just kidding. We don't have any sponsors right now. But if you are listening to this, yes, that's right. If you're listening to this and you're like, hey, I wouldn't mind being a sponsor on Gut Instincts Podcast. I like this guy. This guy, RJ. He seems pretty, he seems all right. Some of this stuff is pretty funny. He seems like he'd be a stand-up comedian even, which is pretty cool. Maybe he'll do stand-up comedy. I don't know. So, yeah. And I have something to offer him or however it works, so we can get the show better. I've got a lot of things planned, but, I'm always looking for sponsors is what I'm saying. I wrote character. Hey. Yeah, so if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, I could sponsor this guy. Anyways, yeah, just email me. The website. Go on the website. You can find the email. But as of right now, I'm talking to you raw too, Josh. If you come across this and you hear it, or any organic hemp I get. Well, there's really not. I don't think there's any. Who's your biggest competitor, raw? Josh, who is it? I have no idea, but I use raws. They seem to be pretty great. Cannabis. Cannabis is going to save millions of lives in the next 5-7 years. It's like all the pathways have been paved, if you will, with hemp. I mean, not enough, not nearly enough. We're just beginning. Right now, see, the problem is that it's being held back. The growth and the rate of expansion of consciousness, health, wellness, things of that nature. And I mean, I'm not saying cannabis is the end all or it's just a part of it. It's a huge sort of wheel in this machine that is like health, wellness, spirituality, understanding, a little more peaceful. That's what it is, because it's wrapped up in the quote-unquote drug war, in the wars in general, in the idea that it's not, we can't use nature to heal. Because remember, it's big pharma. It's all about patented. They already patent CBD. They already patent THC. All that exists. It's all there. You can all see that. So they already had their grips on it, and they've just tried to perpetuate the negativity towards it, by locking people up and getting kids in trouble and whatnot. But the tides have obviously been shifted since the early 2000s, and now here we are, which actually sounds crazy because I remember it passed in Rhode Island, the health cannabis program, the medical cannabis program, was in 2005, and I was still in high school, and that was when I was sort of thinking about it. So it just happened, and I was like, wow, it just happened. And it wasn't until, I didn't bother like going into the legalities of it or trying to figure that situation out, because it just seemed daunting for so many years, until I obviously got the opportunity to move to the West Coast 2010 for for medical cannabis, and just to live in a pretty rad state, the fucking amazing state of California. So, you know, the whole complexity of or behind cannabis is not just the propaganda that's been set. And remember, it's been set within our parents' parents and then their parents. And our parents sort of broke free. It was the 60s movement that really sort of was the first bubble, if you will, that led to this, because it's a lot of our grandparents that went through that, and then a lot of our parents too, if our parents are a little bit older. So it's a beautiful thing to watch, and as somebody who's been a breeder, grower, for almost a decade, we're going on a couple years out. It's a beautiful thing. It's like, I feel like those of us we all are playing our roles, whether it's understanding, whether it's just accepting, whether it's using. Maybe you think you need to use, like, if there's something going on, if there's a depression going on, if there's a sort of an internal struggle, maybe cannabis is what you need. Like, that's what, for a little while, I didn't really think maybe it wasn't exactly what I need, but then when my cannabinoids began to lower and my body began to sort of notice the difference, I could see that there's a better well-being, whether it's food craving, pain relief, just accepting, clarity of mind. Sure, if you over smoke of certain varieties, you can get sort of a brain fog. I mean, I do it all the time on here, right? Duh. You got to embrace the loveliness that is the brain. I mean, we're not even our thoughts. We're not our thoughts. I shared this fucking unbelievable video about this guy who explains about Jim Carrey's news. I don't know if it's a new awakening, whatever you want to call it. Some people still call him a shill. I mean, I don't see anything to be alarmed about. He's exposing truth. He's definitely doing it in a sly way. But honestly, I'm at that fucking point. And anybody who knows about the true reality that we live in can do that. That we can do that, because we know. And as long as we come from a place of love and a place of heart, and it's like, we know we don't live in each other's reality. We know this is all, a bunch of beautiful energy blobs of tetrahedron and smells and images and thoughts, and in the story that you've created, and this external body that you've projected, and that you still always project, right? Because you're always changing. So, oh man, beautiful blue jays. Wow, if you could see this. Probably can't hear them from the, they're in the holly. I've got a giant holly tree we're going to make reefs out of this year. Yep. It's literally giant. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a holly tree. I mean, this thing is like, it's taller than all the houses. I mean, It's a little taller than a 2-story house. Man, Blue Jays. And dogs. What's up, dog? What's up, dog? What's up, dog? What's up, dog? So, look at that, 12:02. But you know what? We're gonna go to 12:12 just because I went to 12:02. No problemo. Ah, don't sneeze on me, homie. Jeez. Oh. You alright? Jeez. Anyways, so let's light this up. Let's have a last hooray, because this is going to be the last 9 minutes or so. I talked to a friend of mine, he was telling me that, like, sometimes if he smokes too much or a certain strain, he'll get this really crazy, not crazy, but just a strange sensation that he's in like a video game, sort of. I think it's the sensation where we can see the 2D a little more prevalent, if you will. So it's like, because remember, you can only see 2D. We live in a 3D, 4D. We are, like, I'm pretty sure we're a 12-dimensional being or something. I think it's 12. Don't quote me on that. But I know it's like, third, fourth, there's fifth, sixth dimension that we sort of, that's our mind, our higher, fifth, sixth, and the highest probably seventh, that's here. And then it's like really external. I don't know. I'm still learning, right? But we'll just stick to, you can only see a 2-dimensional picture in your mind. Now you're sitting there going, well, no, because I can see depth. You can't really see depth, to be honest. Like, if you look, it looks like you can see depth, but in reality, it's just flat. Now, the cool thing is there is depth there, because there is by walking into it. But see, you need to walk into it. See, you see? You need to be the one that walks to the tree, to the gate, to the bird. So if you think of it, again, I referred to the computer thing, and no, I don't really think the simulation, I mean, it's not exactly a simulation, like, boom, that's it, we're computers, or it's like the simulation is that we create our own reality, we're creators ourselves, we're gods ourselves, we're made in an image of God, which is the human God, and we're projected as love. We're love, one of many love beings, if you will. It's a being, human being. It's a vibrational frequency of a human. So when you think of it as that, you think of yourself as a larger organism, right? So you don't feel it's a duality in itself, because it can make someone feel distant, and just, why bother, right? For a little while I would say that a lot. Hey, no. He tried to stick his head through that thing. He's gonna get stuck. No. Oh man, I was gonna tell you something good. Uh-oh. That's a bummer. I forgot what I was just about to tell you. They said I gotta change his name. Should I change his name to Snowball? Snowball. Snowball. Is that a good name? Did I just yell in the... Oh, whatever. What was I talking about? I was talking about knowing about the 2D, the 3D, where frequency... Man. I can't even remember where I was going, y'all. Damn. Well, if you listen and you were getting all excited because I was about to say something pretty cool just then, leave it in the comments. I want your feedback a little bit. It's fun talking to all of you. You all rock. Yeah, I guess I'll just finish up with sort of that. When we see that, or refer to life as sort of an input-output computer type situation, but we see it as a beautiful natural, you know what I mean? Like the single act of trying to save bags or use bags or try to compost or whatever, like just the one axe at a time is what actually matters, because you're putting the code inside of the program, just one. You can only write one code at a time, so it's like, that's what I'm going to try to use. I'm going to try to use that concept with the dog and try to get him to stop, lifting his leg all over the place. So it's almost 12, 10, 11. So we're doing 2 minutes. Yeah, that's going to be cool. So that's it. I don't know. When you realize that, then it's as simple as being like, okay, I'm just going to make sure I experience the now as best as possible, and literally, like, watch the blue jay, how beautiful it is just sitting there, and not think about whatever the rest of the bullshit that's going down, and just take it each moment, take it each plan, each day, each now, and then project. You want to write something, write one paragraph. You want to start the company, make a name. You want to make a product, start with the label. You want to, make a website or blog, start with the domain name. It's kind of like that, It's like you can only do one simple act at a time, and each of those acts, next thing you know, here we are, Gut Instincts Podcast. You're listening to it. 1 year anniversary in about 2 weeks. I hope you're stoked. I'm pretty stoked. What do we do to celebrate it? I don't know. We'll probably do a really cool episode for the birthday. How's that sound? For the true, straight up 1 year anniversary, we'll do it. We'll do like I'll have some cool people on, and we'll do a badass show. So do it. So go ahead. I'm gonna finish it in 12:12. It's 12:11. I love all y'all. Thanks for listening to Gut Instincts Podcast. You rock. Have a blessing. A day full of blessings. I should say it that way. Spread love. One act at a time. I love all y'all. Keep smiling. Keep shining. Grow some food. I'm going to try to grow some food in the cold weather. Wish me luck. If you're into that type of stuff, like I said, or if you just want to hear more rambles, CBD Healer on Instagram. Do that. And GutInstinctspodcast.com for more. Yeah, for writings. All the good stuff. I love you. Peace.